on, peeps, and welcome to Prepper Chicks After Dark. It is Tuesday, October the 7th, 2014, and we're here tonight to play some Conflicted, the survival card game, with a brand new deck, which I'm totally excited about. So, if you don't know who he is, go check out Angry American. He's got tons and tons of awesome post-apocalyptic shit-hit-the-fan books out there that you can learn a lot from. He's on safari right now, so he's not going to be on the show. But when he gets back, we'll make sure we get him hooked up. But off of his books, JD, the Grandmaster, the Grand Poobah, who wears the fedora, is here tonight to talk about the new deck that came out Saturday. So let's get this party started because we have a lot to get through here. JD will let you go last, but joining us tonight is back from the trenches, the one and only Alika.
Hey, it's nice to be back. I've been on more planes than I can imagine. I'm glad I don't have Ebola. I'm ready to play Conflicted tonight.
Yes, this is an Ebola-free zone. So, what website do you have so everybody knows?
Oh, dang. It's been that long, I almost forgot the routine.
Smack.
Sheesh. It's been almost 2 months, but nothing's changed. I am with shtfready.com. We are a prepping forum that teaches how to prep and survive. We keep the tinfoil hat theories out, and we focus on the important parts of prepping. You all heard of the ant and the grasshopper story? We teach you to be the ant.
It's like riding a bicycle. Glad to have you back, dude.
Thank you.
Safe and sound. With us tonight, one of my favorite authors out there in the whole world. Some new guys coming out that might have to take his place. We don't know. We'll see. The one and only G. Michael Hoff is here tonight.
Hey, how you doing, Lori?
Good. You still drinking?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Why would I stop? I mean, come on.
Well, if you didn't catch the show 2 hours ago, he was already drinking at that point. So it should be fun tonight.
Yeah, so hey, thanks for having me on the show, JD. I can't wait to play this deck. G. Michael Hopp here. You guys know me, author of the New World series, and now host of the UCY.TV podcast, All Things Apocalyptic.
Yes.
How's everyone doing?
Check it out because you have some pretty interesting guests on your show. Today you had a new and upcoming post-apocalyptic author out. You want to talk about him real fast? His name's John Vance.
Yeah, John W. Vance. He's actually a really good friend of mine. I've known him for quite a while. And he decided to put a book out, and I helped him along the way. And it's called The Death. Everyone should check it out. You can get it on Amazon. You can check him out at, I think it's jwvance.com. And I'll throw a link up on the chat room. But it's a great book, guys. You should check it out. He's a good guy, a really solid guy. I've known him for a long time.
We should do some kind of post-apocalyptic drawing kind of thing and put a bunch of books together and do like a Christmas kind of win all these books by all these people kind of thing.
I think that's a good idea.
We'll work on that.
Right.
But why we're here, we have now 3 decks that are out, and most of you, we've played the hell out of them so far over the last, over a year and a half now, I believe. So JD has a new deck out. So JD, why don't you tell everybody about that?
Yes, it's great to be here with everybody. G. Michael, great to have you here, man. This deck is based on A. American's books, and I'm pretty excited about it. We're going on a whole new direction with scenarios. It's nothing that we've seen on the other decks, so some new material. And what I like about this deck and about the deck that we based on G. Michael's books is that this is a very non-threatening deck that you can use to play with just anybody because it's based on a book. So it kind of takes the heat off of people, but at the same time, you still kind of know what they're thinking when it comes to certain survival scenarios. So the deck is out. It's going to start shipping by the end of the week to folks, and it's been great. The community been very supportive. It's just been awesome, this whole trip since we started this.
Yeah.
So, good to be here.
If you guys don't know, out there listening right now, if you're new here, it's just a deck of 52 cards. Each card has a different scenario on it that you can sit around and drink some awesome homemade beer and talk, throw out some scenarios and ask each other what you would do in certain situations. And it's caused quite a plethora of fighting going on out there between spouses in the world. So be prepared for that. I'm warning you right now. Nobody's divorced that I know of, but it's good for some interesting conversations. So, you guys ready to go?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It definitely has split some bug out groups, including my own.
You broke up your bug out group?
Yeah, we had some, after playing the game, we had some differences of opinions with certain people.
Whoa.
But it happens. It's better to find out now than later.
Very true.
So, but we're still all get along. It's just, sometimes you think you know someone well enough that if the crap hits the fan, you're going to bunker down together. But after playing a game like this, and you have a chance to going deeper into the subject, you realize you don't know someone as well as you thought they knew. As you thought you knew, It happens. It's no big deal.
Yeah, that's why you should kind of almost market these for dating sites too.
Oh man,
this is one quick way to get to know somebody.
Well, we were talking about growing hops earlier tonight during your show, G. Michael, and we got some home brewers going on here. So maybe we can come up with a nice home brewed beer and a deck of cards to get people started. Make them forget about the Ebola and the ISIS and everything else going on out there in the world.
It does help.
So, JD, you ready to throw out the first card?
Yes. One thing we did different, and we're going to start doing from here on out, is putting an intro card. And we're going to work that into Jamichael's decks, too, on the next batch. It just basically gives you an idea of what the book's all about. So I'll start with that one. I think everybody should go out and read American's books. They're pretty awesome. So here we go. When Morgan Carter's car suddenly breaks down 250 miles away from his home, little did he know the country's entire power grid had been destroyed by the same event. In a world where everything revolves around technology, his trip home would put him through the most intense and challenging days of his life. As people became desperate and as the thin veil of civilized behavior begins to tear, every decision counts. If you were in Morgan's place, would you be able to survive?
So you're 250 miles away from home. And in his book, he's in northern Florida, and he's got to travel south. So 250 miles away from home, your car breaks down. You notice everybody else's car breaks down too. So you assume, because based upon your knowledge, that some kind of EMP has gone off. So Alika,
Yes.
You going to make it out?
Yeah, I would. I think I would apply the Gray Man approach and just travel at night and hopefully trek the 250 miles without catching anybody's attention and avoiding as much human contact as I can.
Let me ask you this. Do you carry any specific things with you when you're out driving around that would help you do that? Because not everybody is going to be able to get out of their car and start walking 250 miles and survive.
Well, if it's northern Florida, that means I get to freely pack my trusty little Glock 36 on me at all times. But other objects, I mean, I would have my my get-home bag. I carry what I legally can in my car up here in the People's Republic of New York, but nothing would change. I would still have a set of shoes, comfortable socks, container for water, your basic get-home bag, and I'd be carrying that with me and keeping my head low during the wee hours of the night.
So you would travel at night as opposed to day?
Oh yeah, two purposes. One, to avoid people, like I said, and then the other would be it'd be a lot cooler, especially in that type of climate. I would rather be traveling at night, so the sun's not beating down on me.
Awesome. G. Michael?
I like where Alika is going with that. I mean, the thing is, this question is kind of posed to people like us, and I think, we're prepared for these kind of things, and we're. JD was mentioning before, what's great about this question specifically is good for people that aren't, because it makes them then think about what do they carry with them, what do they have with them.
Okay, then I'll give you a curveball.
Sure.
If your wife was stranded someplace 250 miles away from home, would she have what she needs in order to get home?
Absolutely.
Because she did it,
Yeah.
or because you did it?
Because I did it.
Yeah,
Because in my family, I'm more the one that makes sure things are squared away. And she has some training. She's familiar with the kit, but her focus right now, and has been for a long time, is mainly taking care of the kids. And a lot of that responsibility for prepping and making sure that things are set aside is kind of fallen on me. And also, I think she's interested in it to a point, and then looks to me to fulfill that other half for her.
How have you eased her into where she's at now? Any tricks?
What's that?
Any tricks that you can share?
I'm fortunate in the fact that it's not as if she's disinterested in it. I think she just feels like she's busy with the girls, and she looks to me. I mean, I don't have to compromise with her in order to get equipment or to do things or to make sure that we have stuff set aside. She's fully engaged in that. I was talking, was it 2 weeks ago, with Glenn Tate, and he's had a little bit more of a kind of conversation with a spouse that doesn't kind of rolls the eyes kind of a situation.
Yeah, big time. Because in his book, he actually leaves his wife and takes off and bugs out without her.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a good. I mean, that's why the conflicted games are so good. These decks are so good, specifically when you play them with people that aren't prepared, and you really get them to really start thinking. And like I mentioned on the show tonight, the Ebola thing. As more I learn about it, the less I'm too freaked out about it. But it's also, I think, making people that aren't prepared start to question whether they should be. And that's what I think is a positive that's coming from a lot of this stuff. But to go to travel 250 miles, could I make it? Yes. Could my wife make it? Absolutely.
Awesome. I was going to ask you something. What was it? I need to write this stuff down when you're talking. See, this is what I get for paying attention.
Have you been drinking?
I wish. Dude, I need to sometimes. No, this is what I get for paying attention to what you're saying. Okay, JD, what do you think? 250 miles.
The question is, can I make it home, right?
Yep.
Yes, I can. I used to travel via an airplane all the time, but not so much anymore because jobs. But now I just drive everywhere, and I make sure I have my get-home bag in the car. That's actually the first question of the deck. As we've been talking about here, Morgan, he has to get home, and he has a get-home bag. And Alika touched on a few of the objects that he puts into that bag. But I wanted to know what else can we include in it to make sure that we get in there. It's not a bug-out bag where you're going to stick everything in there. It's just something for you to get home.
That was
depending
my
on how far you are.
That was my question for G. Michael. Thanks for that, JD. Is there a difference between an EDC or an everyday carry, a bug-out bag, a get-home bag, a shit-hit-the-fan bag? I mean, there's so many terminology out there right now on different bags to have. Are they different, G. Michael?
I've made fun of it.
That's
And
why
I
asked
think for the most part, I think you have a lot of the. Yeah, I think that for the most part, if you think you've got to bug out and you got to go somewhere, you're counting on you're going to have a vehicle sometimes, or you won't have a vehicle. But if I look at a bug out bag, to me personally, is the same as a get home bag, because what if you are 250 miles away, or what if you were at home and you have to go to your bug out location? It's 250 miles away. What's the difference? Or what if you already have a plan with your family that you're stranded 250 miles away? They have a plan to initially to set out to the bug out location without you. And why would you have all these different bags? I think everything you would have in a bug out bag should be the same thing you have in a get home bag.
Now, see, mine's a little different, and maybe this is just a girly thing, because I have a bag I keep in the back of my truck that I use, when I'm traveling around Indianapolis. But within my purse, I also have one of those, what the hell is it called? Fat Pack, little. I'll have to take pictures of it and put it up on the website, up on Facebook or something. But it's just a little pack that it holds my cig in there if I need to, especially if I have to go in somewhere and I can't wear it on my person. But it holds my cig, and it holds fire steel and all kinds of different little things in there, and in this little pack that I can carry in my purse if I have to. But it's the right size to keep in like your desk at work, in case it'll help you get out of the building if something would happen, or along that line where you can't take a normal bug out bag with you. Or maybe I just pack too much stuff all the time.
No, I think what we're talking about having in our vehicle, and I think, do I have a fanny pack that I carry certain things in that it's separate than a bag that I have in my truck? Yeah.
But what if you take the bus or the train or something like that to work every day? Or you flew somewhere?
Well, I think it's all about.
These are. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, if you're flying, there's no reason why you can't take a lot of your stuff with you. You're flying. You just pack it.
Or as soon as you get there, you go purchase some things, or you can mail it to your destination.
Yeah, but what is the difference if I was driving 250 miles away from home? Why would what I have with me in that bag be any different than if I was bugging out of my house? Because what you have to plan that you may not make it home, and then you have to go from wherever you are to the bug out location itself, and then you are technically bugging out from wherever you are.
True. Can your bug out bag have too much stuff? Who I was talking to.
Yeah, of course,
that's easy to overload your bug out bag.
Yeah, I would say it's easy to just throw tons of stuff in. We were talking one time. My mother-in-law called me over to her house, and she was freaked out because her bag weighed a ton, and it's because she was throwing literally everything in the kitchen sink in there, and it's understandable. You can sit there and go through every what if scenario and think, I need this, I need that, I need this, and then you just have to really kind of.
Oh yeah. Well, I was talking to Jason, who runs the New York Prepper site. And he's a firefighter in New York City, and we were talking, and I'm pretty sure I'm right here, but his bug out bag, I'm pretty sure, was 75 pounds. Now, for an average person, you're not going to be able to carry 75 pounds of dead weight for 250 miles if you don't do it on a regular basis.
No, and that's true. I'm 250
Well,
pounds.
that's what I've always. Why fitness comes in. Why fitness is key.
Yeah, it's very true, because I'm 250 pounds and 6'3", and I'm in the gym pretty much almost every day. I loaded my bag up with just 65 pounds, and I was already spent within 3/4 of a mile and walking at a brisk pace in my boots. And you really, really have to figure out the happy medium of how much your bug out bag's going to weigh versus trying to throw in everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, because they do. They'll throw it in there and throw it in the corner and figure I'll grab it when I need to leave and have never touched the thing.
Exactly.
All right, JD, are we off to the next question?
I just wanted to give my opinion on the bag sizes. I think it all depends on how far you are from your main stuff and how confident you are with how you can get yourself back there. For example, if you are just work a couple miles away from your office, let's say 10 miles, maybe you don't need your bug out bag in your trunk. If you know you got to come home to get your kids and get your wife, so maybe all you need is a knife, a flashlight, maybe a pair of clothes, some extra food and water to help you get back home. If you go out of the state 250 miles, maybe you pack some more stuff, multiple changes of clothes, water filtration, maybe some camping, a way to make a fire, and you just add it from there. And then bugging out, I think you got to take as much as you can, but you have to consider where you're going. And are you going to a place where it has everything already, or are you just going out camping in the woods? And how are you going to get there? Are you going to walk? Are you going to drive? So I think there has to be some flexibility, but people have different comfort zone levels, and I think at the end of the day, whatever they feel comfortable with is what they should pack, you know? So that's my opinion on it.
You know, but then comfort comes with capability, and I think that's where Aliko is getting to. And what I've mentioned before, I mean, comfort is one thing, and what can you actually accomplish if you're humping a 60-pound pack?
Yeah.
I think the best way to lighten a bug out bag is to learn pliable skills.
I would agree with that. Instead of taking 12 different ways of trying to light a fire, really you only need one. And if you're really good, you don't need any.
Exactly.
No, that's a good point.
That's true.
Yeah.
After 10 episodes of the Dual Survival, anybody can. Just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. But, okay, next question, JD. Next card. Give us a good one.
All right. A few days into his walk home, Morgan was approached with an offer for company on his trip. This person was someone that he had just met minutes before. If you're in Morgan's situation, walking home after a disaster collapse in modern society, do you want company or not? If not, why not? And if yes, what clues would you look for in order to feel comfortable with your new walking partner?
All right. So you're on your way home. You've been walking for a couple days. Let's say you pass a rest area or something along the freeway, and somebody decides they want to tag along with you. G. Michael, you going to let them? What are you going to do?
My instincts is if I know I've just got to go that distance, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't want to hang out with somebody I don't know.
Why not?
It's probably me personally. I just would be very skeptical, and I would just think that what do they want? Or do they want something? I mean, I guess it really depends on the person coming up to me. If the guy walked up in the business suit, then I'm looking at him, I'm like, well, do I have to take care of this guy now? Is he going to be dead weight? And why is he coming up to me? Does he think I have something that he might want? I guess I'm very just skeptical. I'm just not sure. And could they slow me down? Because if I've got purpose and I know I've got to go from A to B, I just want to get there. I don't want to be distracted, pulled off course. I just don't know the person.
What if
no.
What if it's a young female who was on her way home from a camping trip with her friend? She's got hiking boots on. She's got a backpack. She's kind of bullheaded. Would you let her? And she wants to get home to her parents. And at the place that you passed by where she was at, she possibly could get raped. There's a lot of unmentionables. She doesn't know anybody there. She got stranded. Would you take her?
I guess, being a man and having a natural sense of wanting to protect a woman, I might possibly want to do that, but I also have my own woman and my own family at home that possibly are under threat as well. I would probably lean more toward wanting to protect a defenseless female than taking on a guy to, have a guy tag along.
Okay. Alika, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you, Michael. I mean, for the most part, I would just want to keep on trucking and not pick up any dead weight. But it would totally depend on how I actually, if that person came up to me and said, "Hey, can I come along with you?" It would just come down to what my gut would say. And, if this person's going to be detrimental to my journey back to my AO.
Yeah, so, it already started in the chat room. Somebody asked if she had big boobs. Yeah, we should say a shout out to everybody in the chat room tonight. You guys are awesome for playing along. Yeah, we can skip the big boob thing. But, JD, what would you do? And is there somebody that you would consider taking along with you, male or female? What would be easier, in your opinion? Putting up with a guy in a business suit or some young female?
To be honest, I would not even go into the area where there's people there. Who knows? If it barely happened, maybe, so that I can maybe get some information on what's going on. But if we're days into no electricity, I wouldn't even go there. I would just make a detour. So I would avoid other people, because I think appearances can be very deceiving, and everybody can talk a good game for a while. But I don't know, are you going to be able to buddy up with somebody right away, and then when it's time to go to sleep, you're going to shut your eyes and get a restful night, Are you just going to trust your gut, take that kind of risk? So I would not want to be in that situation, so I would never consider taking somebody I don't know along.
Yeah, Alika brought up earlier the gray man approach, which I think a lot of us have a tendency to lean towards, be invisible. It's going to be hard to teach somebody that fully and understand it if you just met them and they're totally new to this. And for you, your main goal is to get home.
Yeah, for me, I guess if I'm looking at this, if I'm a single guy without any purpose, that's totally different.
This is not a hookup.
No. I wasn't talking about the girl with the big boobs, by the way. I'm just talking about in reference because if you're a single person and you don't have any responsibilities, there's no one waiting for you, then you could take chances like that.
Good point.
But when you've got other responsibilities, you have to start prioritizing who comes first. And I know it's heartless, and that's why some people that aren't familiar with how we operate, and I'm talking about all of us, they think we're crazy and we're heartless. How could you do that? I was like, well, what's more heartless but to go off the trail and help somebody when I don't know what's happening back home, because now I have no communication. Pretty much, you're more than likely you've lost all comms. So that's my priority is to go all the way back without stopping. Period. It's not my responsibility to take care of anyone else.
I think we're all in agreement on that one. That's for sure. And you bring up a good point, because we do come across as cold and heartless, like you said, because we have a goal, and that is to get home to our families, and because they're the ones we're here to protect. If we can help somebody, then so be it. But, if you're in the way and you're going to slow us down, then, move.
Although a child, I would definitely help a child.
What do you consider a child? Are we talking a
not a teenager?
Okay.
Like a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, and of course we're talking, if we're looking at this situation, I mean, it's like early on. So the child hasn't developed any kind of, skills.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah. But, this is a child that completely is outside of their element, doesn't know what's going on. I would personally feel an obligation to help an innocent like that. Teenagers, no.
Okay. JD, you want to head on to number 3?
Number 3. Okay. Put your tinfoil hats on, people. Here we go.
Woohoo!
Given your knowledge about the current world affairs and politics, if a catastrophic event were to take place which knocked out the electrical grid of the entire country for many years, would you say your country was attacked by another, or would you say your federal government had something to do with it? Why?
Well, we should give a shout out to the NSA. We really should.
Yes.
Because they haven't really messed with us tonight. We still have connection. So they must have wanted to hear what the new deck was about.
Maybe they're just American fans.
Okay, so EMP goes off. What are your first thoughts? Was it a foreign country? Was it your own government? Or was it a natural disaster? Alika?
Because if it really goes off, how would you know until you get more information? However, what does your gut tell you?
Well, would it even matter? Would it matter?
Bingo. I think it doesn't really matter.
Well, I think it would.
No, it doesn't matter because we're not going to end up in a DHS camp. So,
well,
I'm not going there.
Yeah, but if it's a natural disaster, chances of being invaded by a foreign country are going to be slim to none because they're going to be in the same shithole that we are. If it's not, and it's a localized EMP that went off over the United States, we could very well be in the process of being invaded, which opens up a whole other can of worms.
That's true.
Very true. Good point.
So, Alika, what are your first thoughts? You going to go the foil route? What do you think? Or could it be our own government working against us?
I don't think I would go as far as thinking that that government van is finally coming to get me mentality. I would honestly think it would be a natural disaster. I would, being the people that we are, we would notice the signs, but you want to hope and pray that it's just something way off. Just wacky and is not the norm, but we would still be on high alert.
Hello?
I'm here.
Hello?
Who did we lose? Hold on. Hang on.
I think the NSA just said hello.
I know. The little fuckers.
That's awesome.
Oh, my God. See what I get for opening my mouth. Hang on. I'm going to call you guys back. Or are we back? Let's check the chat room. Hang on.
Can they hear us?
Oh, see, this is what I get. I give the NSA a shout out, and they knock us off the fucking air.
Of
course. All right, shout out, chat room. Can you hear us? Let us know. Thumbs up.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah,
they got us back. That's funny. Where the hell were we? Oh, natural disaster was Alika, right?
Yeah. Like I was saying before we got rudely interrupted. I would assume it's just a natural disaster, some freak electrical disturbance, and I wouldn't go right away to the government plot until I had some concrete proof in my hand or saw enemy combatants walking down my town square, scooping everybody up. It's just I just don't think that way and think the extreme has happened right off the bat. I would just have my guard up a lot more.
Okay. G. Michael, pull that foil down tight. What do you got?
I if it was like an EMP type, where there's a signature. I mean, we all know kind of the signature things between a CME, EMP. If it's definitely EMP, I would probably side that we've probably been attacked by a terrorist organization or something along that line, and then go into action in preparation for it. But I would look at my government skeptically, only because I think they wouldn't know how to deal with it.
Well, they've done things to the citizens of this country in the past. What would make you think they wouldn't again? I don't see what they on like a super type EMP or an EMP type event. I don't see what they get out of it. Good point. I just don't see what. I mean, I think there's other means of them
taking us over, because I think, see, the thing is, because it only takes less than 10% of the American population to go crazy and actually overwhelms them at the same time. An EMP type event we're talking about a national type grid down scenario, they actually get overwhelmed themselves. I mean, it's hard. They can't feed, they can't manage over 300 million people. They would themselves be overwhelmed. They just couldn't do it. And whatever forces that they had that might be aligned with them would be then fighting those forces that are still loyal to the people. I mean, I think there's a thought that every single Marine soldier would be lockstep behind them, and that's just not what's going to happen at all.
So they want to keep us fat and sassy and happy.
I think that's an easier way for them to take us over. Have us all stuffed full of McDonald's watching Dancing with the Stars versus having an EMP, which I think would overwhelm them.
GMOs at red dye number 5, baby.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of unintended consequences. I mean, things could get easily out of control for them.
Okay.
In that kind of scenario.
JD, what do you think?
I don't think it would be the government, like you guys said, because the strength of the American government lies on the fact that we have the world's reserve currency, and we can print as much money as we want and buy whatever other people produce. We don't need to produce anything. So why would they break that machine? Because they won't have anything to offer. Power is gone. They can't buy all that we need, all that gets imported to fill shelves of Walmart or cars or clothes for nothing anymore. We'd have to trade with other people.
Well, do you think they would take a chance of thinning the herd with, say, some kind of biological warfare, as opposed to an EMP?
But see, I don't see why they would thin the herd. Who is the herd? The herd are people who keep politicians in power. The herd are people who depend on the government so much that they will vote the right people in, and that they will call their neighbors, call other people and say, hey, let's vote for this guy, because if we don't, we're going to lose our checks. They're not producers. And that's the great majority of this country, unfortunately. So I don't think they will do it. Now, do I think they would tighten the grip on the population if this were to happen? Absolutely. Do they have, systems and ways to control the population in order to maintain control and ensure that they're still on top? Of course. But I don't think they would trigger it, because it's their own house of cards. Why would they knock it down?
So do you think
I just don't see it.
Do you think they're pushing us to more of a one world government as opposed to dismantling us?
Yeah, and that movement can be seen all over the world. All over the modern world. I think you have the Americas, North and South America and Europe, pushing along that way. Russia and China as well, but I think Russia and China are looking more for their own interests, and I think Europe and America are all in bed with each other. And South America will do whatever other people want anyway. Trust me, I'm from there. So I think there's definitely something going on for a one-world government, especially when you look at the little details. All countries are printing currency like crazy to make sure they all get the value the same way. They're all teaching the same kind of Common Core stuff in schools. They all have the same kind of policies. So they're all doing this together, So back to the original question, I don't think if an EMP went off that the government had something to do with it. I just don't see themselves shooting themselves in the foot like that. It would break the machine that prints the money. And I don't think the U.S. government will do something like that.
Yeah, I agree with JD on that. Do I think that they want to target certain groups to those that question what they're doing? Yeah, like us? Absolutely. but keep the ones fed on McDonald's and American Idol happy. Yeah, but get rid of us. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to leave the Skype alone.
But see, what is a country without a bunch of us? It's a Venezuela. It's a Cuba. It's a country that has a whole bunch of people who do as they're told. But those people, economically, they're not as well off as everybody else. So those countries are not as powerful. So the government is overbearing on them, completely controls their lives. But also, there's not too much to control because the country is not that powerful in the world scene. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So it's a balancing act, you know. So I think the U.S. right now has the best of both worlds. They're seen as the top economy of the world, which they're not, but that's how they're portrayed. And at the same time, they have full control of people's lives. I went to Walmart the other day to buy a money order, and I looked in the customer service area, all the notices and all the certificates that they had to have in order to operate. I counted 15 different government agencies that they had to get compliant with in order to operate. So they already control our lives, but they also need to let us breathe and produce so that whatever they're controlling is actually useful.
Yeah. Captain Gringo in the chat room asked, and he answered then too, because he knows the answer, you know, would these same people trade their firearms that we fight so hard for to have here? Would they trade that for food? And they do it now. They trade it for a $50 gift card, you know, and it's a sad thing to see. But
that's true.
All right, do you want to go on to another card? He's got some good cards in his deck.
Yeah, he does.
Of course.
We're gonna have to have a contest
do...
and see whose deck is the favorite one.
Only until the Annie Burdell deck comes out.
Yeah.
Then we need to do the comparison.
We're going to have to do that one like 18 and over only.
What are you trying to say?
Just kidding. This question here goes along with what we were talking about earlier, but we didn't get into it much.
Okay.
You'll see what I mean.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Before you get started, in my deck, I want one card with just a big yellow banana on it.
Nice.
Okay. Go ahead with your question.
All right. Morgan's discipline and sacrifice when it came down to investing on preparedness products and services instead of on something else made all the difference between life and death after the disaster struck. How much of someone's personal monthly income should be spent on preparedness items?
Okay.
Great question.
So, how much money should somebody spend? Is there a formula, a percentage of income? You know, do you buy a lighter 1 month, or do you make some sacrifices and add substantially to what you got?
Can I answer first?
Yes.
My opinion is 0.
0?
Uh-huh.
Why is that?
Because knowledge is free. And if you don't have the knowledge to use any of the stuff that you're going to buy, it's useless anyways. So spend the first part of your entry into the preparedness world building your knowledge. When you can light a fire without using a tool, because tools can get taken away from you. That's not just what we call G. Michael. But they can be removed from you. And then you don't have them anyways. You need to focus on knowledge building and learn how to do all those things without spending money. And it can be done. People do it all the time. You know, we're not talking about armchair preppers here and people that just buy gadgets to collect them because they think it's going to save their life. So until you get that knowledge built, 0. Once you get the knowledge built, then go buy some gadgets. And here, I'm glad Geek Prepper's not on here with me because he'd be like, what? But that's my opinion. So,
what are some of those things that you would have to learn that are free?
How to find water and then disinfect it, those kind of things. You need to know how to forage for food where you're at. You need to know how to build a shelter out of the things around you. You need to know how to build a fire without using tools. What kind of wood are you looking for? How to build it up? Those kind of things.
I see.
And then go buy the gadgets and the fancy dancy little things. But that's my opinion on it. So, Alika, what do you think?
That was my biggest mistake when I first started getting into prepping. I'm surfing the websites and on Amazon. I gotta buy this fire steel. I gotta buy this bag. I gotta buy this water purification system. And I realized, as my bank account started draining, I'm like, what the? I'm running out of money here. But then it finally clicked, and what you said, the skill set is way more valuable and would save your life a lot better than any freaking tool. Is if you get out there and learn how to survive. I mean, if you look on your state's websites, even I found a trapping class and learned how to skin an animal properly. Learn how to stretch the furs out, figure out what local wildlife is in the area for food. Simple things like that you might not even have to pay for right out the bat or for a very low cost. Well, it could teach you boatloads of information. It's just, the skill set is just way more valuable than any high dollar tool you could have in your bag. And it's easily, if you don't have a particular item, you could easily trade that particular skill with somebody else that has the item that you want.
Awesome. So how much money did you waste, do you think?
Probably almost about $600 before it finally clicked. And it was about 2 months, and then the wife started going, what the hell are you spending our money on? Like, it's for the apocalypse, babe.
Jeez, what?
But no, with that, and hey, slow your roll on the spending, and it clicked. It's just hey, go learn something, and it will help you in the long run. With food prepping for my food storage, I don't set aside a certain percentage or whatnot. Every time I go to Walmart or grocery shopping or whatever, I throw in an extra can of spaghetti, or extra can of pasta, or extra package of pasta. Just one or two items that won't really make a dent at the bottom when you're going through the checkout line. It eventually adds up because
Well, at least you didn't spend $5,000 on the family pack of the 5-year family of 4 dehydrated food that you store in your garage until the apocalypse hits.
Yeah, exactly.
Those things just annoy the hell out of me.
Yeah, those are way too expensive, and it's like, what's the point of spending that kind of money? You should be able to eat it and rotate it and have fresh food.
Well, they don't understand how much water they're going to need to rehydrate the dehydrated stuff that's supposed to save their ass.
Exactly.
G. Michael, what do you think?
I'm still trying to get over. Did you call me a tool?
Dude. Dude, would I ever do something like that? I can't even say it straight.
I'm just sitting here drinking. I'm sitting here drinking. Like, did she just call me a tool? Did she call me a tool? I'm just trying. I'm like, does this just happen?
It's better than another word I called you that one time. I can't remember.
No. You actually, by the way, hit the nail on the head right there. By the way, I mean that's actually because I was thinking like dollars and all, but it really comes back to skill set, and that is critical. I mean, it's everything. And I always harp on this all the time. Skill set then always translates into physical capability. I know I get on this constantly, and I know I've rambled to you about it, Lori. And I think a lot of people sometimes overlook that, and they will again get on there. And by the way, I was with Alika in a lot of ways years ago, just getting on there and just like, I'll buy this, I'll buy this, I'll buy that, and you're like, well, what am I? Hold on a second, wait a minute. But
yeah, but can't.
There's so many people, and I've seen them. They get all this stuff, and
but you can't swing a dead cat right now on the internet without hitting a new up-and-coming website that does nothing but push this stuff in people's.
No, you're right.
Oh my God, you're gonna die! You have to have this solar cooker that's bright and shiny and has a built-in bathrobe around it.
No, you're right. It's everywhere. I mean, look at I think John mentioned on my show earlier, the sales on Amazon has quadrupled for survival equipment because of this Ebola scare.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, and what it does is it gives people, I think what happens in society, it gives them a certain feeling that they just do just a little. It makes them feel then secure.
False sense of security.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what it is.
So then they can live in their normalcy bias and think everything's going to be okay.
Good phrase, by the way. I like the normalcy bias. Glenn was using that. I like that. Normalcy bias. It's true. And a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
But I think you nailed it. You nailed it right on the head about skill set versus buy what you can buy. Because how often can you find yourself in a situation, all that great crap you bought, you don't have?
JD, what do you think?
Well, I think skills are definitely important, but you have to buy some stuff.
What? What kind of stuff?
Extra food, for once. Ways of storing water.
What if your house burns down?
Ways of bugging a bug-out bag.
Did you just ignore me?
You can take. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you ignore me, though? So
you mean if the house burns down?
Yeah. If you have your extra food, what happens if your house burns down?
We go to your house.
Yeah.
Somebody
to your house. Hey, Lord, here I am.
JD, you better be bringing the tequila, is all I got to say.
I think you can only prepare this for certain things. Would some extra food go a long way for you in the event of a financial collapse? Yes. If your house burns down, no. But what if you have a bug-out car and then an EMP goes off? You just have to take chances with things, I think. I think skills can take a long way, but not all the way, you know. How many people are going to go into the woods to hunt if the grocery stores are empty and you didn't spend some extra money buying some extra rice and beans? I think people should spend. Now, do you need to buy a new 511 tactical pair of pants every month? No, you know. But just add to your food storage and add to your skills and add to the ways to defend your family. That's what I think. Did you guys hang up on me?
No, we're still here.
No, I think we're now ignoring you.
Yeah. So we're down to the last 4 minutes. If you want the cards, go to conflictedthegame.com to get those. So it's a great site. They just revamped it. So go check them all out.
Yeah,
all of the
said
decks are there.
Nice about the site. I'm starting to think that you guys don't appreciate all the hours I put into this.
Stop your whining.
I've been off the grid for a little while. Give me a chance to go check it out.
Exactly. So
I think it looks pretty cool.
G. Michael, you got stuff coming up in the very near future?
What's happening with the New World Series is Book 4 is available. The Line of Departure is its name. It's available for pre-order right now. It will be released May 26th, 2015.
Ah!
Nice.
I don't even want to talk about that date right now. Not happy about it.
Wow.
Oh,
Yes.
That's awesome, man.
Alika,
No, it's not.
Alika, what do you got going on? Let's get back into
I'm-
swing.
yeah, I'm just getting back in the groove. The website and the social sites have been kind of a stall since I've been off the grid, but we're hoping to get some more stuff going and more skill sets, sharing more of everything in the near future.
Gotcha. JD, you got a plate full coming on.
Yes, many surprises through the end of the month. Through the end of the year. Check out the website. We're going to have some new stuff coming on. Laurie's deck,
Woohoo!
which I'm very excited about. By the way, nice.
But tonight, the blood moon, full moon coming up, bigger than the last one we had. If your time projected is a little after 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so get your asses out of bed and go check it out.
Sounds good. It's biblical, isn't it? The blood moon.
Depends on if you're Christian, I guess,
Depends if you're Christian.
or Jewish.
Is it in the Old Testament? Because if you're Jewish, then it would apply to you too.
Yep. So, interesting things going on. Go check it out. All over the place. So to get your deck, are you going to give one away tonight?
Yes. The last person, they were supposed to email you. Did they ever email you the contact information?
Nope, but I don't know who it was either. It's been that long ago.
Yeah, folks. If you guys want free stuff, get your information to Laurie. Somebody who was supposed to leave a good review for Laurie. So today, if you guys email Laurie a screenshot of a good review for her book and for Michael, I'm going to send you a new deck for.
Okay,
But
so
you gotta do it.